I'm Andrew Tucker.
And I'm Lauren Cox.
And we're here with the Daily Cardinal for our football post-game recap and ugly game today.
Yeah, it was Big Ten football at its finest, I guess. Wisconsin, they kind of struggled to run the ball, struggled to move it through the air. It wasn't a great game by Joel Stave. It wasn't really the Stave that we've seen through the first, 4 or so games of non-conference play.
Absolutely. 2 interceptions, 2 fumbles, one of them coming, within the 5-yard line. It was definitely an ugly game for him, something he hopes to forget, and I'm sure that once he looks at the film, he will have stuff to learn from. Yeah,
and one of the few bright spots for the Badgers came on the defense with Joe Schobert. He ended up having three sacks and 3.5 tackles for loss in the game. He really made it difficult for Iowa's quarterback to put the Badgers away by all means, and the Badgers were able to kind of come back and drive all the way down to the red zone, and a little 4th and 2, they couldn't quite convert, and that kind of ended the Badgers' hopes.
Exactly. If Vince Beagle and Joe Schobert were not in the game, the Badgers would have lost by 30 or 40. Those two absolutely anchored the defense. Schobert especially late. Late he came in clutch.
Yeah, and Michael Caputo did his best, came away with an interception that ended up getting called back, and there were certainly some nice plays by the defense, but offensively the offensive line couldn't get the run game going. They couldn't quite connect with the receivers, and then Alex Erickson goes out with the injury. Austin Traylor goes out, and then Stave's kind of stuck with some targets that he's not as familiar throwing to, just because he likes to favor Erickson in that way.
Exactly. On that 4th and 2 at the final, end of the game, he threw to Fumagalli. I'm sure he would have much rather preferred to throw to Erickson or Taylor.
Yeah. So we got a chance to catch up with Joel Stave and a lot of the key players after the game, and they kind of gave us some good reflections on how the game went for the Badgers.
Joel, what positives can you take away from this game?
I thought the defense played unbelievable. The number of chances that they gave us, what they were able to do, getting some big turnovers down the stretch. There's a lot of positives from that. And then, offensively, I think we got to look at this film and make sure we're getting better, make sure we're correcting, the things we weren't able to execute on today.
Oh yeah, I thought our defense played outstanding. I thought the offense played good too. It was one of those funny games. Football's an oblong shape, doesn't bounce the way you want it every time. I thought they got a lot of bounces today, but they played a great game too on both sides of the ball, did what they needed to do to win. But yeah, football's a team effort in every phase. Offense, defense, special teams did a lot of good things today. So, and in the end of the game, nobody did enough. So.
Did you mishap when that happens, or how does that happen?
Yeah, I just caught the tail end of the replay on it, and so you get everyone involved. And, it's the foot coming back, and I didn't see that Joel took a step in, so like a false step type deal. And yet, we still got to protect the ball, no matter what the situation is, and those are hard lessons to learn. But we got to protect the football, in all areas, and we obviously didn't do that today. And I think it had a huge part in the result of this game, obviously.
There were some tough spots, but we always have to be able to bow up. Whether or not a big play or good play for them happens, we always have to be able to bow up and do what we do, and that's play defense.
Some of those insights were definitely, they summed up the game well. So we will see the Badgers next week at Nebraska. I believe it's a 2:30 kickoff. So I'm Andrew Tucker.
And I'm Lauren Cox.
And this was the Daily Cardinal Football Postgame Wrap-Up.